There are 12 inches in a foot. Oh, that's a surprise. Write a function to find the number of inches in any number of foots. Use I for inches and F for foots. You know what? No, I won't. But if you want to, you can. Okay? So write a function to find the number of inches in any number of feet. So the inches in this case is going to depend on the number of feet. Okay? So I'm going to label that, by the way. Inches is dependent. Foots is independent. The reason this is important is because then we can determine which of these would be the x and which is the y. Which I guess it kind of gave away in the table because the x is always on the left column and the y's are always on the right side of the column, right column, the right column. Okay, well, do you guys want to use f and I then, or x and y? X and y? Okay. So since that is the case, we will say that we'll define these. All right. You need to define these if you're going to use different variables. Actually, you need to define them anyways. So if you use f and I, make sure you define them. In this case, we're using x and y. X is the number of foots. Y is the number of inches. So in the equation, we would have y equals something x, right? And how many inches are there in every foot? 12, right? So if I take 12 times the number of x feet, then I would have the number of inches. So how many inches are there in 3 feet? Well, 3 times 12, that would give us 36. Okay. However, the problem with this is that it doesn't want us to use a y. It wants us to write this as a function. So it would be f of x equals 12x. And we've already defined our variables. I guess instead of that y, we can use f of x is the inches. All right. Notice this table is blank, so you get to choose. Which number of feet do you guys want to use? I like 0 a lot because it's easy, and 1 as well. But what other 2 values do you guys want to use?
1, 2, 3. Oh.
2 and 3, good. That works. You wouldn't have to, but you could. So if I have 0 feet, how many inches do I have? 0. 1 feet. 12. 2. You guys see the pattern?
36.
All right, good.
48.
All right, as it turns out, we did the next part, part C, right? We've already identified the dependent and independent variables. We can list those again. There we go. Dependent is inches, independent is footses, which we had already defined right account. Finally, what it needs us to do is to define the domain and range, which may be different depending on the person, but based on this table, this is what it is. So again, the domain is just the inputs, which in this case we chose 0, 1, 2, and 3. Fancy brackets. Next is the range, and this is just all of our outputs. We got some fancy brackets, and we have the values 0, 12, 24, 36. All right, well, there's the whole problem, if that helps.